Well, hello everyone, and here we are with one of these video things, all about albums that depict hats in this case, and it's in response to a video from Midge at Midge's Gems, who is celebrating a whole year in the VC on YT. He's in that time amassed the 400 subscribers, including me now, which just goes to show what can be done if you make interesting content in an engaging fashion. I've got 107 subscribers after 2.5 years. Well done, Midge. Anyway, he started his channel after falling from great height, breaking both his arms. And I would imagine that was when he started wearing and thinking about hats, obviously. Maybe. And that is something we have in common. Not hats, but starting our channels, or my photography one, shameless plug, during the meanwhilest, in this case, following adversity. Now, I managed to catch a blood cancer, resulting in a fractured spine. And Midge, here's my scar from that surgery. Now, chicks dig scars, or so I've been told. So you and I should be like, magnets for the ladies. Anyway, without any further ado, here are the 5 albums with hats from my collection that I've chosen. Oh, by the way, you'll notice I've broken with tradition and chosen to go hatless. After all, with this luscious mane, a hat would only spoil it. What do you mean? Anyway, first up, it's Bad Fingers. Hang on, I think I could have put these in order. There we go. Bad Fingers, eponymous 1973 release, obviously called Bad Finger, or it wouldn't be eponymous, and it features a hat-wearing, bemonocled lady holding a cigarette in one of those cigarette holders. Anyway, I am vehemently anti-smoking, so don't do it, kids. There are far healthier ways to reduce your lifespan, so choose wisely. Badfinger are without doubt the biggest band to come from my home city of Swansea in South Wales, and were it not for scandalous mismanagement really leading to multiple tragedy, they would have been massive, even bigger than they were. Now next up, I put them in order, man. Next up, I've chosen Electric by The Cult for the magnificent headwear sported by Ian Astbury. Now I saw them on the Electric tour in Newport back in 87 or 88, I think, and he even wore that same hat and a fur coat, I believe, while performing under all those lights on stage. What a man. Now, I saw them again in Swansea Arena in 2024 on their 40th anniversary tour, but he didn't wear his furry outfit then, sporting instead a bandana, along with what I can only describe as a dress. I mean, what a man. Another band I've seen twice now with a huge gap in between shows, and that's Uriah Heep and their second album. Oh, God, it's on the bottom, see? Oh, no. Oh, everything's fallen. Called Salisbury, which features a man in a tank wearing a military-style cap, presumably because he's in a tank which belongs to the army. Well, you hope. In fact, there are two hats. The tank commander and the driver. Military millinery then. I'll get my coat and my hat. Now the title is presumably a reference to Salisbury Plain, where the British Army practiced blowing things up. For all that though, it is a fine follow-up to Very Heavy, Very Humble. As for the live dates, Bramlin Hall in Swansea in 1980 on the Conquest tour, and then St David's Hall in Cardiff in 2022 on their Lockdown to Rockdown tour. And fun fact, on both occasions I met the band's current drummer at the time. Chris Slade did a sort of drum clinic at John Hamm's music shop in the city before the 1980 show, and yes, John is Pete Ham's brother. And in 2022, my daughter and I got in the lift at the venue, only to be joined by Russell Gilbrook, who is much smaller in real life than you would imagine. Tiny. Next up, a band I've never seen live, sadly, Supertramp, and their multi-platinum offering Breakfast in America, with the hat-wearing waitress on the front cover, which is now on my floor. Hang on. There she is. Now, I love Supertramp, but this isn't my favourite record of theirs. I did do a video about them a while back, and I'll put a link to it if I can remember somewhere. Other than that, I've no story or anecdotes, but Rick Davis, who passed away recently, had the same cancer, myeloma, that I have. What joys, eh? Lastly then, it's Abbey Road by a largely unknown group called, I believe, the Beatles. And I know what you're saying. Have you lost your mind, man? There's not a hat in sight anywhere. Given the funeral concept of the cover, I can only assume that hat wearing would be considered disrespectful, and only really Ringo could have got away with wearing one, playing the part as he did of the Undertaker. So where is the hat, you fraud? I again hear you shouting. Well, inside the CD cover, there are some lovely pictures of the band, featuring John Lennon and George Harrison, both sporting fine items of headwear, which is ironic given the whole, Paul is dead conspiracy, that the only two pictured with hats on are no longer with us. In fact, if you play the whole album backwards, then you'll hear the hidden message that says, well, there you go then. A largely an inspiring choice of hat-related records and a CD. And I'll be back in a couple of days, actually, as soon as my Queen 2 box set is delivered, and I'll show you its contents. Not as professionally as Brian May did in the unveiling video, but in my own inimitable, useless style. If it's anything like the Iron Maiden Live After Death debacle when I forgot to show half the contents, then I think I'll cancel my channel myself. Anyway, until then, be nice to each other, okay? That's an order from those nice men in the tank. Ta-da. In fact, if you play the whole album backwards, then you'll hear the hidden message that says, don't do this, you'll ruin your stylus. Well, there you go then. A largely an inspiring choice of...